Hello, Leapsters. One of the things that I left off of the last video that I wanted to mention um, was on Skill's website when you're in the recent battles. And, I already went over the battle hits. But one of the things you can do in here is when you go to vehicle stats, or there's a thing called Matchmaker on here. So if you click on this Matchmaker, what it'll do is it tells you over here the day, the week, the month, the overall. So if I look at the month, the previous month of battles, you can see the number of battles I played in each of the tanks that I played and how the matchmaker worked it out. So when I was playing, let's say, tier 8s and I got in a tier 10 battle, that's +2. That's worst, right? When you're playing in an 8s battle and you get tier 10s. So that happened 6.4% of the time. When I was playing in a tier 8 and I got a tier 9 battle, when I was +1 tier, you can see it was 36% of the time. When I was playing in the same tier, it was 35% of the time. When I was playing in -1 battles, it was 17.6% of the time. So when I'm playing in a tier 9 and I get in a tier 8 battle, well, that's a lot better um, than being in +1. But you can see +1's 36, -1's 17. Um, that's kind of suck. I'm getting put in a lot more +1 battles than I am -1 battles. And I'm getting put in a lot more +2 battles than I am -2 battles when I'm in a tier 11 and I'm in a 9s battle. You know? So this shows right here my distribution over the last, in 15 different vehicles over the last month. I've been getting pretty shitty matchmaking. Excuse my language, toast. But if you look at specific tanks, I could go over here and pick, let's say, tier 8s. In my tier 8 battles, I'm getting pretty even. +2, -1, or +2, -2. My -2 is 0. My +2 is 15.6. That's total garbage. I'm getting in a lot of +2 battles. But then again, a lot of people are playing those tier 11s now. And they're really not playing tier 6s because it is the holiday season. So everybody's playing tier 8s to get more credits. All the premium tier 8s, premium tier 9s. So chances of you getting a -2 battle are really not good right now. Okay? If you look at specific tanks, for example, let's say we look at tank destroyers only in tier 6. Tier 6. So my tier 6, again, I'm getting a lot more +2 battles than I am -2. I'm getting a lot more +1 than -1. So really sucky matchmaking. I gotta take the 8s out. So again, really sucky matchmaking. If I just look at tier 8s, I'm getting a lot of, +2. This is really bad matchmaking for me. Now, if you look at just tier 11s, okay, well, we're not getting any +2s. Obviously, there is no +2. There's no +1. So, and we're not getting same tier. We're always getting -2 or -1 tier because there are no pure tier 11 battles. So you can see in here if you want to shoot at, if you want to be a seal clubber, go play tier 11s, right? You're getting the best matchmaking there is. You're not getting same tier. And 25% of the time, I'm getting tier 9 battles. This should be 75. Yeah, 75% of the time, I'm getting tier 10s. 25%, I'm getting tier 9s. So if you look at my tier 10s, again, there's no +2, right? So I'm getting -2, 3.2% of the time. -1's 10%. Same tiers, 45%. Right? So I'm getting this a lot more than I'm getting these two. The +1s are just a +1. Forget this plus or -1. So just the +1s to same or -1s. The percentage is greater. So this is just another thing you can check to check out your overall tier 11s. This includes my heavy, right? Or you could just look at tier 10s, where I'm getting some plus, where I have some tier 11s in there versus same tier or minus. Again, matchmaking is just, not on my side. But if you look at overall, that's over the course, forget the holidays, but overall, um, again, I'm seeing a lot more plus ones than I am minus ones for tier 10s. For, let's say, all battles, all totaled equal, every tier, I have a 5.7% plus 2, 5.3% minus 2, which is close enough. So that's pretty equal. 30% to 31%, 31% being better in the minus ones. So that's pretty equal. And 22% same tier. This is not too bad overall over the course of the whole. Now, this only goes back to when Skill started his or started this mod. So it doesn't go back 15 years. I think this is like a year old. So this has all my battles for a year. And you can click on the specific tanks, STRV or the Hellcat. I can go to tank destroyers from USA, right? And you can see my Hellcat's the only thing down here. And in my Hellcat battles, I'm getting plus 2 8% of the time, minus 2, because they don't put tier 4s in with tier 6s. So this is really bad matchmaking, where you're getting 45% plus 1 tiers. So you're in a tier 7 battle 46% of the time, and a tier 5 battle 14% of the time. So, this is really not a great matchmaking, and that's why, you can look down here at the legend. Top tier plus 2 is the worst matchmaking. You're bottom tier all the time, 10% of the time. Then the other times, you're equal or plus 1. Only 14% of the time am I in there with tier 5s. So anyway, I just thought this was an interesting thing where it even tracks your matchmaking overall for all your tanks or for a specific tank. So you can see how your matchmaking's going, and definitely when you go into the stats, for your vehicle stats, and you can check the different tanks, your shots, recent battles, right? And you can check your recent battles and see your battle hits, who hit you, and where, and did they penetrate or ricochet? See, that's a ricochet shot from a Leopard. And if you can look and see how many shots you hit and where. I mean, that had a chance to ricochet, but I ended up shooting them just under here and penned for 390. But that was just lucky. It could have gone out here and it could have ricocheted. But anywhere in your reticule. Anyhow, just thought this was a really interesting video. All right, I hope you guys got something out of it. See you tonight.